Alright, I've got a problem. And also this doesn't work. This sucky boy really sucks at sucking. I already went in there once and greased up the plunger on the inside of there thinking that's what it was, that I just washed out all the grease with brake fluid or something when I was sucking something out of there, but that ain't it. I think what the problem is this O-ring down in here. That's how much play I have just in this upper part of the handle, which probably should be a crisp 0 amount of play. So I'm thinking that O-ring is shot somehow. It got sand in it or something and just wiped it. So I've got a big old box of O-rings down here, so I'm hoping one of these is the right fit. We can throw that in there and fix the problem. If not, I'm going to cry because I can't find replacement parts for this thing. So anyway, let's dig into it again. Alright, well here she is gutted. The reason why mine is broken is because I was never able to get this lock ring off, so I just assume it didn't come off. Turns out it does. I just had to use a fucking strap wrench to get mine off the first time, now that I'm actually having to get in there. So yeah, fun fact, that comes off and then the whole top comes out and you can just dump that out. I've been having to dump it through the through the inlet this entire time, which works fairly well, but I have a feeling that all the crud has just flooded into this system and has wiped that O-ring out, which is probably the crux of all my problems. It also washed a lot of the grease out of there. I already came in here and greased this guy up. Again, just with some wheel bearing grease, and that helped it out a fair bit, but not all the way. So yeah, I need to get that O-ring out down in there because it is wiped and does not protrude out of that bushing anymore. However, I already tried getting that bushing out, it didn't work. I'm going to try a new tactic of beating on it harder with a bigger object, and that'll probably do it. First I got to take the snap ring out, but anywho, let me just go over the guts of this real quick. So this is your plunger right in here. There's a spring on it which just keeps you from slamming into that. It's held on just with a threaded nut down here on the bottom. It's got an O-ring on it. My O-ring's still in good shape. That tube is greased. In order to get this down to this point, take that lock ring off. This whole thing sluices out of the top. Just go ahead and take your hoses off too. They're just going to get in your way. And make sure to pull the whatever it is, the vent valve out before you take the lock ring off, because you will break something. And once you get down in here, it is a Phillips head. You just loosen that a little bit, and that allows you to take this nubbins off of here. Then once you have that nubbins off, then you can unthread that cylinder from in there, and then that'll just leave this piston right here. In order to get the piston off, you have to pop this rubber cap out of the top of the handle, and there's a big Phillips head in there. Then you hold on to the bottom of the shaft with a towel or something, just try not to get too much grease on yourself. Hold that, break it free, it's not on there with a lot of torque. Then take the handle off, then you can slide this shaft out of there, and then you can pull this spring off of here just so that you don't forget it. Oh yeah, and also this is a check valve, and that guy sits down in there, so you can pull that guy out, get out of the way too. There are two big O-rings up here. Try not to rotate this thing inside of there because it'll bunch up the O-rings. Just pull it up and out. There's an O-ring right here. And there is not an O-ring, but there is kind of a seal right in there. This is your stop valve. It's a float valve. If you fill this thing all the way up to this level, this guy will float and it'll go up in here and jam that, and then that is the inlet that supplies this, so that you can pull air out of here and push it out through there. So yeah, the air is getting out, it's being pushed out here, so it flows from inside of this up through this guy into here, wherever that is, right there, that little port down in there, fills up this cylinder, and then you slide the piston forward that pushes all that air out here, past that check valve, through here, out and into atmosphere. So that's how you are pulling vacuum out of here. And because that O-ring has sealed up in here, or has failed up in here, every time I push this piston down, it just sucks air right from atmosphere through here and then pushes it back out that way. So that's what's screwing me up. So I'm going to try and get in there and get that out, and I will report back whether I've broken it or not. Alright, well I managed to get the bushing out. I just flipped that guy up, or took the snap ring out, flipped that guy upside down, and then just got on it with a big flathead. Just jammed it in there at a 45-degree angle and just gave it 2 or 3 good love taps, and it spilled out the top. And here's the old O-ring. It does not look bad in any way, shape, and form, but for whatever reason it's not sealing. So what I've done is I've taken the wrong size O-ring, which is a A110 or a 3/8 by 9/16 by 3/32. I probably needed 9/16 by 7/16 by 1/8. And I think I actually have one in here. Oh yeah, no, that's a 1/16. But anyway, what I did is I used the golden rule of thumb for O-rings, which is you just put it on there and you beat it until it self-clearances, which is not, don't ever do that, but I'm doing that just because I have tons of O-rings. It's cheap. I don't have one of those. It's 10 at night on a fucking Sunday. I'm not going to go find another O-ring tonight. So what I've done is just self-clearance this one, and it seems to seal just fine, and this will allow me to put all this back together and test to see if that was actually my problem. Because if this solves my problem, then all I know is that it was this O-ring. And I'll just run this until it fails again, and then I'll go get the proper O-ring for it. So I'm going to slap all this back together and see if that fixes my problem, or if it's something else. I really don't know what the hell it would be if that's not it. Yeah. So we're going to do that. Alright, well, that did precious little. So I can only assume that this O-ring is bad. And I mic'd this out, and I'm pretty sure this is metric, because that other O-ring was, as far as I could tell, not SAE. But anyway, the imperial measurements I got out of this thing were 1 and 19/32 internal diameter and 5/32 external diameter. But that could be either 40 or 41 millimeter with a 4 millimeter width. So I'm going to look online and see if I can find a standard size that is close enough to that. Whether metric or SAE, maybe both. I don't know. It depends on how much they are. And I'll also go to the hardware store and poke around and see if they have anything this big and odd lying around. But hopefully it's some kind of standard metric size, and I can, pick up a pack of like 30 for like $5 or something like that. Or like one for like $1 at the hardware store. We'll see. But it is not getting done tonight. Okie dokie. Well, I went to the hardware store and I bought one of these, which is a Danco number 49. It's a 1 7/8 by 1 5/8 with a 1/8 cross section. And I'm hoping this works. This is a common faucet size. It cost me $1. And hopefully that restores this thing and it works just fine once I throw it in there. If not, then this is a metric system, and my best guess is that a 41 millimeter ID by 48 millimeter OD by 3.5 millimeter cross section O-ring will work, which will be a little bit beefier than this. It'll be a little bit thicker. This is a 3 millimeter. Going up to a 3.5 would probably take up that air gap that I think is causing my problem. But yeah, this guy is still pretty flexible. There's nothing really visibly wrong with it. This guy is mildly softer. I really don't know if this is going to work, but if this doesn't work, I really have no idea what the heck is wrong with this thing. So yeah, let's give it a shot and hope for the best. Alright, so I swapped the new O-ring in and it's still not doing anything. Still just as freewheeling as ever. No suck action at all. So something else somewhere is messed up. Either that or that O-ring was supposed to be a lot larger than that. Anywho, I can't imagine that because the thing doesn't have any flat spots. It doesn't look that bad. It's a little petrified, but I mean, it's not horrible by any means. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some other part that was in there that just like melted and is just gone into the ether, and I'm just running around with like a chicken with my head cut off. But anywho, I busted out the big guns, so I have the actual vacuum pump, and I hooked that up to this, and I've just pulled vacuum on it. I'm sitting around waiting to hear a hiss to find out how the hell the air is getting into this thing, and there's nothing from up there. But it's not doing any of the suck. But there is vacuum in there. So I really don't know what the hell the case is. It's just that plunger, I guess. I don't know whether there was just supposed to be big fat globs of grease, or if that O-ring was supposed to be huge or something, but I don't know. The only thing I can try now is getting a fatter O-ring. I'm going to have to get a metric size and just pray, but I really don't think that's the problem. But there is so little out there that I don't really have another option other than to just keep throwing O-rings at this. Well, after playing around with the vacuum pump and the air compressor, I can confirm, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is the sealing between this plunger and this housing. So either that O-ring got smaller, or this housing got bigger. And considering this is like 1/8 inch wall ABS, I don't think that swole up. And also, I don't really know where the rest of the O-ring could have gone. I don't know how it could have shrunk. I mean, the only other thing I can think of at this point is to grab some, like, high mileage engine oil that has seal swellers or something like that. You know, some of this Castrol or something, because high mileage oils have seal swellers in them, and just let that thing like soak and see if the O-ring swells up a little bit. Throw it back in there and see if that works. Because yeah, I'm not putting any more grease in there. And unless I can get my hand on some big fat metric O-rings, there's nothing else more I can try. This thing will hold vacuum, so it's not leaking the atmosphere, which means whatever the issue is somewhere between this float valve and this exit. And I can take this guy off, hook the air compressor up, and just blow shit tons of air clear through here, so that passage is clear. And if I blow air in the other direction, nothing goes through, because that guy is properly sealing. I don't know whether it's sealing or the correct pressures, because, you know, we're only talking a couple PSI. Pushing out, I already tried squeezing the spring down as far as I could. I don't think that's the issue. It's just that thing is not pushing air. The air it pushes down and the air just goes around it. It's just not sealing. Yeah, I don't know what more to say. Look at that mole cricket. What are you doing in here? I don't know what more to say. I gotta get a big fat O-ring or try and make the old one swell up. So we'll play around with that and hope for the best. I don't want to have to spend our $100 on a damn fluid extractor just because the O-ring went. Okie dokie. Well, I'm gonna throw everything back together and we're gonna let that guy marinate, and then we'll fast forward and we'll see if something happens. Alright, it's been close to a week, and this guy's been soaking in the high mileage oil, and it is better. It's not a lot better, but it is better. However, I just went ahead and ordered some metric O-rings that are a little bit bigger. And we're going to throw one of those in there and see if it seals. And hopefully it does, and then we're done with this. So let me do that real quick and then pray. Alright, well, despite me ordering a metric size that should have been a 0.5 millimeter wider than the other one, this one is also just as loose, if not even looser. I don't know if you can hear that, but let's see internal play in there. And there's a distinct lack of sucking going on. So yeah, that set me back like $7. We're starting to get into the territory of, if I start throwing any more money trying to buy the correct size O-ring, we might as well have just bought another fucking sucky boy and called it a day. So yeah, I don't really know what to do at this point. I'm wondering if that whole chamber like deformed or something, because I can't imagine that the O-ring shrunk that much. So yeah, don't really know, but something fucky is going on for sure. Alright, it has now been several months. I don't even remember how many, probably like 4 or 5. It's now mid to late February. I don't remember when the last time I was working on this thing. October, November or something? I don't know. Future me is going to put it up on the screen right now. I've done nothing. It's just been sitting there this whole time, and I've needed it like 3 times, but I've made do. These guys have just been sitting here in this oil this whole time, collecting dust, and I'm just going to pull this sucker apart, slap. I don't even remember which one of these is new one. I'm assuming it's this one that's covered in grease and thicker. I'm just going to slap that back in here and see if it makes a difference. I did just order some new, even larger O-rings. And when they get here, we'll see if that works. And if that doesn't work, we're going to take this and just throw it in the dumpster and buy a new one. Because there's nothing I can do at this point. And that was, it served me well. It was worth the $90 I paid for it. I just wish it wouldn't have died. Probably shouldn't have filled it up full of gear oil and diesel and then tipped it upside down several hundred times. You know, it pays to be stupid. Or it costs to be stupid, whatever the term is. Okay, so that's back together. And we're still not sucking. So, yeah. Well, we got one more set of O-rings going. It's a last-ditch copium effort. And we'll see if I can fix this. And if not, it's becoming parts. There's nothing I can do about it. All right, got some O-rings in. That's what size we went with. So let's huck them in here and see if they do something. All right, that new thick boy's in. Let's see if it'll actually, do something or make some kind of seal, maybe. Oh, that sounds really good. Maybe, just maybe, there's hope. All right. Well, it probably took 6 months, but this thing finally given the good suck again. So it's fixed. It just took months and probably, God, $25 worth of O-rings? You want to talk about a scam. These fuckers were $5 a piece. This was $15 for 3 fucking O-rings. That is trash. Good God, fleecing America. I think this 2-pack that I got over here for these guys, no, this was the one that I bought from the hardware store. I think the other one I bought, I think those were like $2 or $3 a piece. That is just fucking outrageous. It's a fucking single O-ring. Anyway, I digress. Didn't need to be that hard. I'm still not entirely sure what the hell the problem was with this thing, whether or not the original O-ring like shrunk by 50%, just in diameter, just in, actual wall diameter and not in overall diameter, because it's still the same outside like diameter and inside diameter, but the actual thickness of the rubber is like half of what it should be. Or what I'm leaning towards is that I sucked some kind of something up in here and got it on all of this plastic, and it absorbed into that black plastic vacuum cylinder, and the whole plastic cylinder expanded by like a half millimeter overall, just, about much, something like that. I don't know, but it works now. It sucks. It sucks good. It's very sucky. Sucks better than it ever has. So, yeah, this has been a complete mess of a video, but I hope this helps somebody else out here. The one that finally eventually helped me was a 41 by 49 millimeter O-ring, and this is probably only applicable to these OEM tools that use the same sucky boy head as this one. So yeah, I'm glad to finally have this thing back in action. I'm sure I'll ruin it again very shortly, but at least I have 3 more replacement O-rings. Yeah, I'm not putting any more money into this thing. If you like this kind of crap, I don't know why, but consider giving the video a like, comment, tell me how much of an idiot I am, and that I've wasted too much money on this already and it's taken way too long, and that this video is complete fustercluck. And if you want to see more garbage like this for some inexplicable reason, then you gotta subscribe, so smash the big red button, and until next time, Tom out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to fix your Mighty Vac extractor, fluid extractor. These things are awesome, except they don't seem to last very good. So I've already repaired this one, but I'm going to go through it with you guys and show you how I did it. This one wasn't pumping, so no matter what I did here, it had no suction. I tried lubing it here, putting some silicone spray in there. It just wouldn't pump up at all anymore, no matter what I did. So I was on the verge of throwing it out, so I thought I'll take it apart and see what's going on. Step 1 to take it apart is remove these Phillips screws. So a pair of pliers, screwdriver, whatever, blast these things out. All right, we'll take out the rest of these screws here. Okay, once we got screws and stuff out of the way, this will just pop off. this is what you get inside. Now my initial thought was maybe the O-ring for the plunger wasn't very good. So you got to take this tube off here. Mine had some, I don't know, looked like some glue to prevent it from unthreading, but this just unthreads. Grab a hold of that somehow. Alright, so now that we pulled this apart, I've got the soft oil filter wrench. We need to unthread this from the plastic top here. Mine had a little bit of glue on it originally. So oil filter wrench, you don't want to damage this aluminum tube at all. So hang on to that oil filter wrench. It just unthreads. Initially I was able to take mine apart by hand without a belt tool like that. So you just unthread that. This just pulls straight out. Now originally I thought this was the O-ring was going to be the problem, so I went ahead and changed out the O-ring. The O-ring I used was size number 224, 1 3/4. Outside diameter was 2 inch. The thickness was 1/8. I put a new O-ring on there. I put some Vaseline on here. Vaseline won't interfere with the rubber, so I coated it in Vaseline. You could probably use a little bit of transmission fluid if you want. So I went ahead and put a new O-ring in there and threaded that back together, and it didn't work. So the O-ring that was on there had flat edges on it, so I thought it wasn't making a seal. But what the problem was is on the bottom here, this here is a rubber, just a rubber check valve actually, or a rubber washer. So you got to undo these two nuts here, 13 mil and 14 mil wrench. So grab the two and undo the jam nut like this. This will thread off the bottom. Now you're left with this one. This also had some glue on it, so unthread that one. Remove the washer and this little guy here. So originally, when I had mine apart, this one was this way and this was hanging down. And it wasn't making a seal when it was pumping. The one-way, basically it wasn't, the one-way check valve wasn't activating. So all I did was I removed this, I flipped it over, I put the washer back on. I thread the first nut down. Now the first nut, you don't want to over tighten it, because if you over tighten it, it deforms the shape of this rubber washer here. So basically you just need to put it down finger tight, so that this sits flat against here. If you can't get this to sit flat on here, you might have to come up with a new rubber washer, maybe make it out of a piece of inner tube or something. Then you go ahead and you put your jam nut back on this one. So it just threads on the end here. And you want to just jam these two together without tightening up against that rubber flat washer there. So that's all it is this deforms the one-way check valve in here, and it won't make a seal and it won't pump up for you. So you can go ahead and put that back together, put some Vaseline on there, transmission fluid, slide her in, thread her back on. Mount that back into the container. All right, go ahead, tighten the bolts up, and that's how easy it is to fix one of these. Save yourself 100 and some odd bucks. You don't have to buy a new one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hey everybody, this is Tom. I just want to make this video about this fluid extractor. I bought this at Harbor Freight. It's made by Holt Industries. It's called a pneumatic air-operated fluid extractor. You hook up a an air line here, a pneumatic from your air compressor, and then up here these tubes come off of here, and you stick them in your car to extract the oil out of your car instead of crawling underneath, and taking the oil pan drain plug out. This thing works really good, except in the case where it explodes on you. So that's what happened to me. So here's this little piece right here. It fits right here on the side of the canister, but you can see this thing blew apart. Yesterday I was using it on my truck to extract the oil, and this whole side blew out, just blew off of here. Look how big this is. I can stick my hand in here. I'm telling you what, beware, buyer beware of this one. I believe Harbor Freight actually made a recall on these, and it's posted at the store. If I was standing in the right spot, this piece of plastic, you can see the edges on here. This is hard plastic. This, I don't know, man. I mean, this could kill somebody. Look at this edge. Look how sharp that is, or pointy. So beware, man, buying this thing here. You might have a nice easy oil change, but you might lose your life doing it.
Well, welcome back to Steve Rob Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing this product here that I've had for many years. I just got this one here back in 2016, I believe, and I've gone through 3 of them over the years, and they don't last forever. I'm going to show you a tip on how to make them last longer. I've learned my lesson. But this is a suction pump, a manual one, and all you do is you just pump it up and down like this, and it causes a suction in here, so you can remove all kinds of different type of products from, well, I'll go through this kind of stuff that I use it for, and I got a little bit of a demonstration here. This is just some old waste oil. I'll show you how good it works. But I use it for vehicle engines. On my wife's 2015 Chevy Cruze, I just take this, I put the cable, the hose down the oil dipstick, and I drain the oil out like that, because underneath the hood is where the oil filter is, and it's very accessible. I don't have to jack the car up. I don't have to go underneath and pull the drain plug out or anything. And what else do I use it for? I use it for power steering. I use it for brake reservoirs. Transmissions is great for transmissions. If you don't have a dipstick, like on my F-150, they do have a plug on the side. I made a vid of that. I'll put a link down the end here of how to do that on your own F-150. But generally, a lot of them, older models, have a dipstick. You just take the hose, put it down the dipstick, and it'll suck it all out for you. Coolant overflow bottles. A lot of times, yeah, to get all that old coolant out, how do you get it out? Sometimes it doesn't all just drain out, it just sits in there. So I use it on that. Lawnmowers. I use that on my lawnmowers. It's quite difficult to, take the plug out of the bottom of a lawnmower. That is a pain. Or you see a lot of people tip the whole lawnmower on its side. No. This here sucks it all out real fast. Actually, toilets. Yes, when you want to clean your toilet. I bring this in the house, and I just put it in the toilet bowl, clean all the fresh water out, and then now you can put your toilet bowl cleaner in there. And it's great for all kinds of household uses, not just for auto mechanics and you know, do-it-yourself, you know, repairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the valve that I put on this that a lot of people don't have on theirs, and I'll just bring it over to you and show you. That's all I did, is I put an ordinary valve on there, and you can get these valves at any place. I got mine at Princess Auto. I'm up in Canada, but I imagine they have them all kinds of other places. And this is the tubing, guys. This was like 11 bucks, and I got more tubing here last year, lifetime. And yeah, they're just quick, connects in, and that's it. You know, it's not hard at all to put on, and a valve is the best thing you can put on one of these, because without the valve, all of these are designed so you have to put the hose inside whatever liquid you want out first, and then start pumping. I don't like that. What I like to do is operate it off the valve, open and close. And for me, that was pretty simple, and the valve was like $10. But another item I'm going to show you here is, I don't know if it's going to show here, but if you take a look right in here, right where this goes up and down, well, right in the bottom there, inside of this is an O-ring. And if you don't lubricate it, and this is what I use, I just use some silicone paste. If you don't lubricate that and you break that seal, and all it is an O-ring in there, you have to throw the unit out because it will not keep a seal anymore. So I found to just put a little bit of lubricant around there. I don't use any type of grease or anything because that may react with the O-ring. I use a silicone paste, or even a silicone spray would be fine as well. But I'll show you how this works and how simple it is, and I'll be operating it off of the valve. I've already pumped this up, and you can't really hear anything, but when you pump it up to the end, it just doesn't pump no more, and it's got a lot of suction in there. So I'll just show you a demonstration here on how easy it is to suck oil out of whatever you want, or the bottom of your toilet bowl. Okay, so all I'm going to do here is unhook the hose, take the cap off, and whenever you're sucking oil in any vehicle, it's got to be hot. You can't do it with ice cold oil at minus 40. Come on, it's not going to work. I'll just turn the valve on now, and there she goes. So usually when I start, I'll have to probably pump this up one more time when I'm doing a whole crankcase. But as you can see, it's filled the whole line here. And this oil is not hot. In the garage here, it's about 65 degrees. But I would suggest, you know, when you're doing this, and you could hear, I don't know if you could hear it or not, you could hear it hitting the bottom of the tank here. But yeah, this is quite easy. I just put it inside the engine oil dip tube, or engine oil dipstick, I mean. And it just sucks all the oil out. And for me, it's been working great. And I can just turn it off, and it stops the flow. Now on the side here, I'll just give you a little bit of on the side here, there's a little bit of I would say a stem here that came out. I had to drill a hole in here so that when I wrap this up, it fits in there and it's all compact. Well, I hope you like that little bit of a demonstration. I think these are just terrific. Like I say, you'll use this around the house for sure. You'll find a purpose for it. I guarantee you sometime you're going to have some water sitting around somewhere. Or like you say, if you want to drain out all these different fluids on your automobiles. So thanks for joining me here today, and hope you found this useful. Come back again. Let's have some more fun. Cheers.